So let us begin today in a seated position. So it might be quite good if you had a block or a cushioning that you enjoy sitting on to begin with. Place that down and take a seat, and please do feel free to move around enough as usual to find a little bit of comfort. Allowing yourself to just get familiar with the position in which you can find discomfort. Maybe an internal space, and if you feel it is appropriate for you to do so, maybe touching one hand to your heart space. If you enjoy this touch, there's no reason why you couldn't touch the other hand onto your lower abdomen or abdomen in general. Just connecting physically, maybe to your heart space. And noticing if you can feel the heart beating. Already a lovely way to focus more inward, to withdraw your senses from the outside and everything that influences you there. Taking the awareness into your own heart space. And if it feels right, you could also start to lengthen out through the back of the neck a little and just gently lower your gaze. Focusing your whole being into this one space. And as you might choose to still hold, but no obligation, you can rest the hand down at any time. Begin to deepen your breath a little. And you might feel drawn to breathe straight away into the hand that's resting on your heart. And there's nothing wrong with that. You could do so for a few breaths. Maybe becoming aware of where you feel you're loving yourself or love expressed in your life, or maybe the lack thereof. I invite you now to change your breathing pattern to full yogic breathing as you begin to expand from lower abdomen to the rib cage to the collarbones. May breathing out from the belly to the ribs to the collarbones. I suggest, however, to lift the head and to breathe with an upright seated position. If you like, you can add the Ujjayi technique, which might resonate or even lightly vibrate the body. And then let's release the hand if it's still resting on your chest, down onto the thighs. Continue your breathing though. And as you take your next deep breaths, you can keep the eyes closed if that works for you. Just reach your arms out wide. Turn the palms of the hands upwards, and as you're breathing out, squeezing through the shoulder blades and almost lifting through the heart at the same time. And then let's turn the palms of the hands downwards, rounding a little bit through the upper back and looking downwards. And then reverse that again as you're breathing out. Turn the palms up, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift through the heart, maybe the gaze. And we'll keep that going for a little bit as you're breathing in. Turn the palms down, round into the upper back, gaze is low. And as you're breathing out, we're squeezing through the shoulder blades and opening the front of the heart. So keep playing with that. There's a rotation here in the shoulders as the palms are facing downwards, and then when they're facing upwards. And your awareness sits in the heart center, not the physical heart itself. And we're trying to create space in the front and in the back of it. With the arms lifted, we're also naturally creating some space around the sides. Then take a pause after your next one and just resting the hands down. And if your eyes were open, just close them for a moment, keeping your full yogi or jai breath going. Observing any sensations. I invite you, if you're seated cross-legged, to change the leg in front. And we'll make another change now as we repeat this, but we're changing our breath around. At first, just lifting the arms out as you're breathing in. Bring them back out towards the sides. Again, turn the palms of the hands to face upwards. Elbows can be soft here. And now we're breathing in as you're squeezing the shoulder blades and creating space in the front of the chest. And then when you're breathing out, we're rounding and tucking the chin in lightly, turning the palms down. So it's now the in-breath where we're opening the front of the heart, maybe looking upwards. And the out-breath where we're rounding and turning the palms to face downwards. Please stay aware that the shoulders are in a more or less relaxed state, in a soft state, without any strain. You might feel the weight bearing in them, that is your arms. But other than that, the shoulders are moving softly. You're breathing fully, ideally sticking with your yogi or ujjayi breath. And if that works for you and your arms aren't hurting as such, go for another one. And then once you've completed that one, resting your hands back down and lengthening again through the spine, and pausing here while you continue your breath and basically just feeling. Noticing as much that you're cultivating, as well as sensations in the body. If you like, you can stay seated on your support. If you prefer, as we're moving a little bit more, rather than sitting still, you could remove the support from underneath you. Placing your fingertips down behind your back, we're still continuing that theme of opening a bit. As you place the fingertips down, lean into them. So we're leaning a little bit back, and yet we're still taking a breath in and opening the whole front of the body this time. Now, when you are breathing out, bring your right hand across to your left knee as you're sitting up straight into a twist. Bring the hand back behind you. As we repeat this, lean the weight in, take a breath in, whole front of the body opens. Head back is, of course, optional. Left hand goes to the right knee, and we're twisting from here. Let's bring the hands, both of them, out in front. Stay on your fingertips as you're lengthening through your spine. And then only if it feels good on the next out breath, just softening forward, as if there was nowhere to go, just relaxing in. Walking your hands backwards. Bring your fingertips once again all the way behind your back. we're adding a lift of the legs, so lean back to the space between the sit bones as you're lifting your feet up. Flex the feet a little. And if your inner strength allows you, lifting the arms and letting the palms face the legs. If that feels good, take a breath in and open the arms out wide. And then change the cross of the legs again. Placing your fingertips once more behind you onto the floor. We're repeating our little sequence. As you take a breath in, Chakrasana, open the front of the body. Again, the head backwards is absolutely optional. And then your left hand goes to the right knee as you're breathing out, sitting and twisting. Let this left hand swing back behind you, repeating Chakrasana. As you take a breath in, open the front of the body right down to the pelvis. And then the right hand crosses over to the left knee for a twist. Let both hands come out in front or onto your legs, depending on your availability. Lengthen through the spine on the in-breath, and then just softening forward on the out-breath. As much as we're now closing that we usually see as our heart center, the front of the body, we're still exposing our heart through the back. No difference, it's not called heart center for no reason. If you do need to sit up to transition onto all fours, or you're sitting on your support still, please do so. Otherwise, you may roll over your ankles and coming forward onto all fours. Asking you to simply stay on all fours as you're placing your hands down firmly, hands spread out. And see if you can lean the weight into the whole hand rather than just the wrist. Maybe noticing how that gives you an extra lift in the upper back. Let's take a breath in, soften the elbows, lifting tail and gaze. And then a breath out as you're rounding into the cat. So we're still working with the spine in the same direction. Soften the elbows, inhaling, open the front body. And breathing out to round into the back body. Keep this flowing, just 3 more, but now beginning to own this movement and moving in your own pace. Keeping the full yogi or jai breath flowing. I will invite you then, once you've completed, to bring your body back into a neutral spine, to keep your knees and hips just as they are. As we move forward into Anahata. Let's step just the hands forward, keeping your hips right over your knees and maybe coming further forward. If it suits you, you can lower even the forearms and forehead down. And if that works for you, then starting to sink the front of the heart towards the floor. There's a lot of sensations here that might or might not nourish your body. If it is not nourishing you, as we want to tap into our heart space, if this is, for example, too strong on the shoulders, please back off a little bit. Being kind to yourself or loving yourself as we move through this practice. Allowing yourself to stay here while your breath continues for 2 more. And then once you finish those, walk the hands back in, finding your all 4 stands again. Now on the next in-breath, lift your left arm up, maybe follow it with the gaze. We will thread the needle, so I invite you to reach the left hand through underneath and come to rest down onto your shoulder and your ear, keeping your gaze along the floor. And there's an extra option for that little bit more openness to place the right hand fingertips down onto the ground like a cup. And then push down into the fingertips and feeling the right shoulder rising. There could be sensations here around your upper back. Gaze is still along the floor, which is getting that shoulder to lift, and with that opening the chest a bit to the side. Then spread the right hand fingertips back onto the ground, push into the floor, and find your all four stands again. We will change sides now. On the in-breath, lift the right arm, maybe following it with the gaze. And as you're breathing out, thread the needle and come to rest down onto your shoulder, onto your ear. And again, please do modify whatever needs modification. Planting just the left hand fingertips down like a cup and pushing them into the floor to feel a lift in the left shoulder, keeping your gaze all the way along the floor and exploring what this feels like, where you feel opening, or maybe just a connection to the center of your heart. Then let's plant the left hand back down, pushing up onto all fours. We'll extend back into down dog, so you might tuck your toes under to lift the knees off the ground. Stretching the hips far up and back. And then you might start to pedal out into your legs, getting some movement going. It might be just the legs first, where you're feeling some lengthening happening, and potentially some release through the joints of the ankles and the knees. And then if that feels good, could you add a swing into the hips? And as a result, we will get some movement into the shoulders here as well. If that's not enough, bring some movement into wrists and elbows here as well. Then pause it. Soften the shoulders, bring your gaze lightly forward and start to walk or step your feet towards the front end of the mat, but we will stay in a forward fold. On the in-breath then, slide the hands up to shins or thighs so you can lengthen the spine forward, waterfall movement. And as you're breathing out, your knees will be soft and you're coming into Uttanasana, your standing forward bend. Inhaling, wave your spine long, half lift or edge of the waterfall. And breathing out to fold completely, knees soft here. So legs could straighten out if it feels good when you're lengthening the spine, but perfectly fine to keep them bent if that's better for your back. Keep flowing like this, waving up as you're inhaling and bending as you're exhaling. Maybe you're noticing also how the weight quite naturally begins to shift forward and back within your feet. Try not to force it anywhere, just going literally with the flow. And once you have completed your next one, you're in your forward bend. Engage the lower abdomen. Wait for your exhalation to curl yourself upright. Give the shoulders a lift once you're arriving and let them drop back down. Now, to get ourselves really ready to step out into this world as it is now, I would love to have a few breaths that include a bit of a sound on the exhalation. To get there, please make sure your knees are out of the lock so you're standing in a safe but solid position. And as you're breathing in, lifting the arms out in front to shoulder height, continue the breath in, open your arms out wide. Still breathing in as you're lifting the arms up, and then As you're dropping the arms. Again, the knees are soft. We're having a bit of a bounce there. So we're keeping this light. Let's do that again. Breathing in a little, arms lifting out in front. Breathing in more, the arms opening to the side. Breathing in even more as the arms are extending. And then that as you're dropping them down and having that little bit of a bounce. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift the arms. Inhale, open the arms. Inhale, lift the arms, and then letting that go. And then pause here for a moment in your mountain pose. Eyes might be closed, so the gaze steady as you feel the feet holding, supporting you, as well as your legs. Just notice, how's your energy now? Where do you feel energy created within the body? No right or wrong, doesn't have to be in the heart area. As you next breathe in, just reaching the arms back out sideways. And as you're breathing out, interlacing the hands behind your back. When you breathe in, lift the arms a bit away from your back, squeeze the shoulder blades, open your heart, and then bend your knees as you're exhaling, fold it forward. If the arms can stay lifted away from the back, awesome. If they don't, that's fine too. Releasing your hands down towards the mat next. And as you're breathing in, lengthening the spine forward. Now on the out breath, stepping your left foot back into a lunge. If you prefer to work more from the ground, you can lower your left knee. Otherwise, rolling yourself up to stand, include the shoulders, drop them back and landing deeply into a tall standing lunging position. Now I will invite you to breathe in. Open the arms, your heart, and I recommend to turn the palms upwards to do so. And as you're breathing out, rounding, and a lot of you would have done that with me before, touching the backs of the hands together. On a breath in, open the heart. You can also lean the head back if your neck is happy today. And when you're breathing out, rounding forward again. So we'll inhale, opening our front, and we're breathing out to round the spine, softening into the knees. 2 more if you can. If you're struggling with your balance today like me, you will embrace that too. And we will pause in the last one, around it forwards. But we will start to extend through the spine and reaching the arms out in front of us. If around the ears is too high, keep them lower. Take a breath in while you're reaching the arms forward, the heel backwards. And when you're breathing out, let the hands land onto the mat. I suggest to bring the knee down and then the other to stretch back into an extended child's pose. But we'll keep flowing now. On a breath in, roll the spine forward, kneeling plank. Exhaling to lower down onto the mat. Inhaling, waving up for a cobra. Exhaling to release to the floor. Inhaling, all 4s, toes tucked. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Allow yourself to establish your stance or move your dog. Up to you what feels best. Allowing yourself just 3 more full yogi or jai breaths. As we all have a different pace of breathing, when you completed, inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, bring the knee to the chest and round into your upper back. Then maybe landing the foot forward. You can help it there if you need to. Rise to your fingertips as you're lengthening the spine. And as you're breathing out, bend your right knee and tuck your nose towards the knee. Inhaling, lengthen the spine again. And exhale to step your foot forward. Inhaling, wave up, half lift. Exhaling to bend. Keep the knees soft. Take your time on the out breath, lower abs on, curling up into standing. Once you've risen to stand, breathe in, open the arms out wide to your sides. As you're exhaling, bring the hands behind, changing your interlace. On a breath in, lift the arms away from your back, open the front body. Bend your knees, belly to the thighs and the forward fold where the arms might be lifted away from your back. Releasing your hands towards the floor. Inhaling to half lift. Exhaling, right foot steps back. Again, if you want to work from the ground, bring the right knee to the floor. Otherwise, curl yourself up. Find your tall standing lunge. Arms relaxed, and we'll begin with the same movement again. So while you breathe in, open the palms, the arms, the chest, maybe the throat. And as you're breathing out, round your back and touch the backs of the hands together. Back knee is bent. Inhaling, opening through the front. And exhaling, rounding forward. Keep this flowing. Go for another 3. Keep your spine moving. That's the main thing. Help with the spinal movement, observing yourself. How does that translate down into the pelvis? And does it help you to move through the back leg? As you could work with straightening or knees bent. And take that as it comes for you. Once you've done your last one, again, whenever that might be, you're holding forward. But you're then allowing your spine to extend, the leg to extend, and your arms as well. Arms can be a lot lower than ear height, as that might bring stress to the shoulders, which we're aiming to avoid. Then lower the hands to the mat, step back into down dog. On a breath in, roll the spine forwards, again into a plank. If you prefer, kneeling plank. Exhaling to lower, keeping the elbows nice and snug. Untuck the toes. Inhale, wave it up. We might still be with the cobra, some might retreat to up dog. As we breathe out, we're releasing. Inhaling, all fours, tuck your toes. Breath out for downward dog. If your down dog requires movement, keep it moving. If you want to hold it still, bring that little bit of a bend into the knees. If the down dog is too strong today for whatever reason, you're always welcome to have your knees on the ground, as long as you're aiming to stretch the tailbone still far up and back. So our last breath in this down dog. And when you're ready, right leg is lifting, breathing in. On the out breath, bring the knee to the chest and round your upper back. Help it, if it doesn't get there, as you step the foot towards the front. Come to your fingertips. Center your pelvis. Lengthen your spine forward as you're breathing in. And then let's bend the back knee and tuck the nose towards the knee, rounding the back. Inhaling, lengthen forward again. Then step the foot next to the other, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling to bend. Wait for the next out breath. Lower abdominals are on. And exhaling to curl all the way back into standing. Breathe in, open the heart space out wide, reach your arms out. We'll still stay with the interlace, so interlace the hands as you're exhaling behind your back. On the in-breath, lift the arms, open the front body. Knees are bending. As you're breathing out into a standing forward bend where the arms might be away from your back. Release your hands. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, left foot steps back. This time I encourage you to keep the knee off the floor. If you need your thigh, bring the hands onto the thigh. As you're rising up, take a breath in. Open the arms out wide. Now keep them wide as you're lowering your heel to the floor and turn the body for warrior two. Now you might have little adjustments to do with your feet until you feel really grounded. I would love you to feel your center and especially leaving your torso in this center. Now connect with the shoulders. And we will turn the hands. As you breathe in, open the palms. And as you're breathing out, turn the hands down, gaze comes forward. Inhale, gaze is in the center, palms turning upwards. Exhaling, rotate the shoulders, looking forward. Do so just once more. As you breathe in, turn into the center, palms facing upwards. And exhaling, full warrior two. I will ask you to place your right hand on top of the thigh. The left hand comes on top. As you lift your back heel, lower your left knee down to the ground. You can leave the toes tucked under or flatten your foot out. And then on a breath in, lifting the left arm and your gaze. And as you're breathing out, turn open to this left side and place your hand flat into your lower back. Now we will lift through the right arm and breathe in to open the heart and the gaze. Pause here for a moment. If you really want to go deeper, the left hand could reach for the heel. We will release this by rolling the top shoulder in and down, circling the hands around as you land them either side of the foot. You could stay on your knees and stretch back into puppy pose or work with a down dog. So make this practice yours. As you breathe in, we're rolling forward, plank or kneeling plank. Exhaling, lower towards or onto the mat, owning your vinyasa two. As you inhale, lifting the body for your back bend. And we'll transition from there back into downward dog. As I am all about nourishing and today connecting to your own love and heart, please do so throughout the whole practice. If holding this dog still just doesn't work for you, don't. Finding your space within this practice. Next inhalation, lifting the left leg.
Now, as you're breathing out, just open the knee out to the side. So the hips become open. The left foot is crossing over towards the right side. We're not touching it to the floor. I'd encourage you to lower the left side of your chest a little bit so that the upper back is the same. We're opening more into the lower back now and the hip. On the next breath out, bring your knee back to the chest and round the upper back. And again, let's land the foot forward. If it doesn't get there, help it once more. Let's rise back to the fingertips as we're lengthening our spine. Left hip is slightly moving backwards. And then bend the right knee and tuck your nose back to the knee on the out breath. Inhaling, lengthening again. And exhaling, forward bend, footsteps forward. Inhaling to your half lift. Breath out to fold. We will add a movement here. As we breathe in, push into the feet and rise up to stand. And as you're breathing out, bring the hands down to the heart, even the thumbs lightly touching to the sternum. Tall, standing position. Connecting the fingertips or the fingers to the heart space might bring the awareness back to the beating of the heart. While at the same time you could feel really grounded and connected, not just to the floor underneath, but maybe also to the space above. Let's breathe in again. Open the arms out wide. Interlacing on the out breath in the odd way behind your back. Lift the arms as you open the heart space, breathing in. Bending your knees deeply, fold over the thighs, standing forward, bend, arms might be lifted away from the back. Release the hands down. Inhaling, half lift forward. Exhaling, stepping the right foot back. Soften the knee, curl yourself up. Breathe in as you're opening the heart. Keep the arms wide, lower the heel and transition in for Warrior Two. Now, once you're in Warrior Two, you might need once again to adjust the stance a little bit. We'll move through the arms rather than the foundation, so making sure torso is centered. On the in-breath, turn the palms up. Elbows might be soft, your gaze is in the center. As you're breathing out, rotate again, palms down, gaze to the front and fingertips. Let's do that again. Breathe in, open the palms, center your gaze. Breathe out, turn the palms down, looking forward. Just one more. From here, let's release the left hand down on top of the thigh. Maybe the right hand too. As you lift the back heel, lower your right knee down. Toes can remain tucked under, or you can flatten the foot to the floor. On a breath in now, reach your right arm up, lift your gaze. And then on the out breath, circle the arm back, open your body sideways, place the hand to your lower back. Then breathe in, lifting the left arm, looking into the palm of this hand. This is perfect as it is, but if you would like to take it deeper, the right hand could reach towards the heel of the right foot. Keeping that sense of lift and open just for a little bit longer. And then transition it by rolling the arm and shoulder inwards. Move it out as you place your hands either side of the foot. You might bring your knee back, tuck the toes under, work with the puppy, but nothing speaks against down dog here. Inhaling, come through your vinyasa, roll forward, plank or kneeling. Exhale, lower. Inhale, find your back bend. Breath out over knees or toes. In your own time, return and meet in downward dog. We're still in that idea of nourishing ourselves. So if movement is appropriate, do move. Otherwise, keep the stillness of the dog. Ideally, you would want to achieve a more natural curve in your back, and I like to have that bend in the knees to facilitate for it. On your next breath in, lifting the right leg up. And on the breath out, bending the knee to let the foot come across as we're opening into the hip. Now here would want to roll the right side of the rib cage downwards. So upper body, shoulders are still balanced while we're opening into the hip and having a twist in the lower back. Waiting for the next out breath as you bring your knee in towards the chest, rounding the upper back. And then stepping the foot forward. Rise to your fingertips, right hip moves back and spine is lengthening. Then bend the left knee as you tuck your nose to the knee on the out breath. Inhale again, finding length. Exhaling, step it forward, Uttanasana. Inhaling, Adha Uttanasana, half lift. Breathe out to fold. Keep your knees bent. As you inhale, swing your arms forward and up. And we're completing this once more with the hands at the heart space. Pausing, eye gaze steady or eyes closed. Connecting again to the beating of the heart. The world around you. The ground underneath. And all that space above and around the rest of the body. To continue the balance and allow that to be open for the heart, I've chosen to play with the dancer. We will shift our weight onto the right foot to do so, and we will lift the left foot by bending the knee. So a foot is backwards. Now, if you can reach, release the left hand and reach for the outer edge of the foot. Bring your knees back together. Touch the right hand to your heart space. Move your heel towards your buttocks and move the hips a little bit forward as we're pausing in this balance. If your balance is challenged, use the right hand to hold on to something. Now from this place will we open up. So I suggest index and thumb touching as you breathe in to lift through the right arm, the chest and the knee by bringing the foot back into the hand. So keep the heart open, we're in a balancing back bend. The gaze lifted. The knee is straight behind you as it lifts up into the hand. And now we put a loving smile onto our face, whether we've just fallen out of the balance or we're still in it, doesn't matter. And let's release that. Bring the right hand back to the heart, then the left. Returning to our mountain pose. If you need movement through your legs, don't hold back. We will change sides now. Beginning by shifting the weight into the left foot. Bend the knee as your right foot comes out behind you. Reaching with your right hand potentially to the outer edge of the foot. Keep the left hand touching the heart space if possible. And bring your knees together, the heel a little bit closer towards the buttocks. So I grip to the outer edge of the foot for this variation of the dancer. I know there's many lineages teaching it in different ways, but my idea here is the open heart. So while your heel comes back to the heart, encourage the hips to the buttocks. The hips come forward. As much as this is all about the heart, the heel isn't quite getting there right now. Let's breathe in. Touch index and thumb together. Open the arm out. Lift the foot back into the hand so the knee starts rising. And keep with that the pelvis more or less in balance, the chest opening, the gaze is open. And try and find your balance within this back bend. Softness on the lips, if not a big smile. And to release that, bring the hands back to touch at the heart, finding your stance on your feet again. Notice the heart beating slows down. And release the hands down by the sides. We will in a moment come down to sit, but I would love to have one last round of our breathing technique from the beginning. So first bit of the in-breath, lift the arms out in front. Second, open the arms out, still inhaling. Inhaling still as you lift the arms. Aha. And release. Relaxing the arms down, and that hopefully had released some of the tension you have been holding through the balance. Let's lower down to sit. As we come to sit, of course, can you pop up the block underneath your buttocks, roll up the mat or whatever feels right. I will then ask you to bend your right knee and place the sole of the right foot, preferably to the inner thigh. However, if there's reasons this doesn't work, the foot can be anywhere against the leg. I invite you to place the fingertips down onto the floor while you maintain an upright spine, and just take your femur bone and pull that back into the hip socket. Keeping the toes of the left foot facing upwards, there may or may not be a bend in the left knee, which is fine. Take a breath in, keep your upright seat. And as you're breathing out, keep the length in the spine and walk the hands forward to the point where you notice your spine will be rounding. Pause here for one breath with the length in the spine, and then transition into the full expression of the pose, where you might lower your head towards the knee. So here the back could be rounded. You could even allow a tuck of the forehead towards the knee, only if this feels good for your back. Simply staying here for a few breaths, nothing else to do. And you might focus back on your breathing, allowing the exhalations to nourish you within this pose or asana. Walking the hands back up towards your body, sitting upright and tall. Let your right arm circle behind your back and place the fingertips there. Take your left hand towards your knee. Inhale while still sitting tall and exhaling into a twist. Now your left leg is still extended. Actively the toes are pointing upwards, so it's not moving anywhere we don't want it to be. Keep the twist, but change your gaze slightly in the direction of your bent knee. Inhale, reach the right arm up behind your back. And then keep the hold on the knee or thigh and bend sideways as you're exhaling over your left leg. Now, if this feels good, you can turn the palm of the right hand up towards the ceiling. To release this, roll the right shoulder inwards, relax your knee. Draw the hands all the way behind your back, just the fingertips down, sliding your left foot in front of the right, and a brief chakrasana as you open the whole front of your body on the in-breath. Lifting your spine up tall and sliding your right leg out now. Please adjust the left foot. If it can be against the inner upper thigh, fine. If not, keep it somewhere against your leg. Have your fingertips down on the side and lengthen your spine. And then try and draw the right leg into the hip socket. Toes facing upwards, knee long or knee bent. Keep the length in your spine by breathing in. And on the out breath, still keep the length and just walk the hands a little bit forward so the spine is still tall. Inhale into this length. And then as you're breathing out, lower your head towards the knee. I usually don't hold onto my foot. That's my preference. So the shoulders are very relaxed in this position. Focus here is the forward bend as we're creating space around the back body, predominantly on the right side. You can always tuck the forehead in towards the knee, but only if that gives something extra to your experience. Stay here using your breath. Let's walk the hands back up into your seated position. Lift the left arm as you breathe in. And on the out breath, landing the fingertips of the left hand behind you. Taking your right hand across to the outside of the knee. And as the next exhalation comes, go into the twist. Keep your right leg actively extended, toes facing upwards, just for alignment. Now let's center the head over the knee. And while you breathe in, reaching the left arm to the ceiling. And as you're exhaling, leaning over your right leg. If that feels good, turn the left palm upwards. Now, let's roll the left shoulder and arm inwards. Slide your fingertips behind, that's on both sides. Cross the right leg in front of the left. Last time we're coming into chakrasana. Squeeze your shoulder blades, open your heart as you're breathing in. And then just simply center yourself again when breathing out. Now, if you need your socks or whatever else is on the cards for you to find comfort when we lower towards the floor, we will finish this sequence in a happy baby pose. If you prefer, just lie yourself down and start it from there. If you're feeling playful, grab the outer edges of your feet already, knees out as you find the space between the sit bones, tuck the chin in, roll down onto your back, and then lift your ankles up over your knees and draw down. Now, if your feet are too far away to reach, there's always the backs of the thighs you can hold onto. I find it more important than to hold onto the feet, that the feet are actually the highest point. So the ankles stacked over the knees, way more important than holding onto the feet. However, if that's in your range of movement, it's perfectly fine to do so. You're all very familiar with this posture. So if you feel you would like to pull a little bit on one foot and then the other to create a rocking, that's fine. If you prefer to extend the legs in the pose, that's another option. Or maybe you're just staying here for a few more breaths. We will slowly release the pose by bending the knees more, placing the feet down onto the ground. My suggestion before you rest is one full stretch of the body, but this is not essential. If you're feeling complete, you can drop straight into Shavasana. Otherwise, have a big, long stretch. And maybe a sigh as you then enter Shavasana. If it feels right for you, you could have a couple more thighs, just to make sure the body is relaxing fully. Closing the eyes or steadying your gaze. Inviting more love to enter your heart. As this area might be your point of attention for this relaxation. Our card for today is the Arkan Barbelo and Jasper as a stone, taken from the Crystal Mandala Oracle. This mandala and stone stands for support. But where do we get this support from? It says here, remember that divine love is love. Love doesn't profit at the expense of another. It does not steal another's happiness or joy. It increases well-being, encourages growth, and inspires courage. When you allow more love to flow into your life and heal your body, your mind, your finance, your relationship, your work, whatever you wish, you and all life benefits from that increased flow of love in the world. Asking for support actually helps grow love in the world for all beings.
Begin to gently deepen your breathing again. Light movement might return to the body or stretching. And then in your own way, returning into a seated position. From where once you got there, taking the next breath to reach your arms out wide once more. You can turn the palms of the hands up or whatever feels best for you. And when you're then exhaling, touch the palms together, Anjali Mudra in front of the heart space and maybe the thumbs connecting again to the sternum. Take a moment as you lightly bow to your own heart. Acknowledge the idea of love and where you might need support to keep growing love. We'll start that immediately as we extend our love to each other with a lighter bow. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed connecting to this space, which we fairly regularly do, but I think it's always worth doing so. And I do want to share this beautiful mandala and stone, and please forgive me if my pronunciation was off. I think these mandalas in this card deck are extremely beautiful, and oftentimes when something really resonates from this deck, it's well worth, if you're into gemstones, to maybe find this stone if you've got it at home. A jasper is a fairly common one, and keep that around you for the day.